in a sign that the royal rift may be thawing. A bombshell new report from The Times states that Harry and Meghan would love to spend Christmas with the rest of the royal family at Sandringham this year. However, the Sussexes are yet to be invited. Do you think they should be invited? Should there be another olive branch? Should they dare to show their faces? gbviews at gbnews.com. But I'm joined now by editor-at-large at the Mail on Sunday. It's the wonderful Charlotte Griffiths. Charlotte, is this really a turning point, do you think, in the relationship between Harry and Meghan and the rest of the royals?
Well, not really, because they said it themselves in this statement. They haven't been invited. And actually, it was a classic Meghan and Harry sort of drip feed of information, wasn't it? Because it actually was a bit of a stab in the side, saying, by the way, we haven't been invited. So it's hardly proof to Charles that he can trust these two not to leak out negative things about the royal family.
But maybe this was a plan for them to say, oh, look, we would come if you did invite us. There's still time. And maybe this is them, offering the handout and saying, hey, look, we would happily dine out on some Sandringham turkey or pheasants or whatever else they have.
They deigned to show up to Sandringham this year. I mean, I get the impression they must need more material for their next documentary. But, I suppose they are saying the rift is slowly healing, we would show up. But it would be fantastically complicated for Charles, because could he really have William and Harry in the same room on Christmas Day? Can he trust them not to leak things? Can everyone speak freely on Christmas Day if Harry and Meghan are there? It would be quite a complicated arrangement. So even if they might be available, as you say, in the next 6 weeks or so, quite a lot of moving parts would have to be arranged by Charles to get them safely and securely in an environment where there won't be sort of fisticuffs at dawn.
OK, a couple of things at play there. First one, do you think that Harry and Meghan might turn up wearing a wire to Sandringham?
I don't think they would do that. But there was that rumour that they did turn up to a royal event wearing a wire once, wasn't there? But that was never proved. I don't think they would now. The Netflix documentary's been and gone. I don't think they'd dare. I just don't think they'd dare. OK, all right. And the second part of that is that, let's say Charles wants his son there. Apparently Charles, we're going to come on and talk about this, is spending more time with the grandkids. Maybe he might decide, look, come on, we've got to have Harry there. Do you think it'll be William to say, no, I've had enough of that dude? I think it would be William, yeah, absolutely. And I think if Charles did want to see Harry, and he may well offer some sort of olive branch on that front, he won't be doing it on Christmas Day, at least not unless it's sort of Carol Middleton's turn to host and William's not going to be there. I honestly don't think I can see William and Harry in the same room. I think William will put his foot down and say, you can see Harry on Boxing Day, but you're not seeing him on Christmas Day, not if you want me there as well. And he is the future king, so he kind of is, and this is the whole problem. He will get the first invite over Harry. Yeah,
absolutely. And so he should as well. So he should. You can't go around behaving like that, especially towards your own family, especially when that family happens to be the royal family, and expect for everything to be fine. But look, King Charles is reportedly spending more time than ever before at Windsor Castle in order to be closer to his grandchildren after the Prince and Princess of Wales moved their family to the Windsor estate last year. I think this is lovely, it's wholesome, it's nice. The royal family has often at times copped a fair bit of criticism for, being part of, as I think, by the way, is not uncommon in aristocratic circles, where the family is not necessarily always as close as it is round at Doreen and Dave's at number 42. But is it a sign of how much the king is relishing his duties at grandfather? And also, look, does this shine another spotlight on maybe the disservice that Harry is doing to his own kids here by denying them this opportunity?
Yeah, OK, so to answer that question, I think so, because I think it's quite obvious from pictures that we've seen of Charles with his grandchildren over the years, he's incredibly fond of them, and he's actually a real softie and a proper soft grandpa at heart. So I think if only he could get more access to those grandchildren of his on the other side of the Atlantic, it would be a lovely thing to see. And I did feel for them when they sort of recorded that video for his 75th birthday, and I thought, God, they hardly know him. They've recorded a video to say happy birthday, Grandpa, but they can't actually see him. And the other thing is that William has spoken before about how it was quite difficult to get access to Charles. So when Charles was about 70, William said, it's actually, we'd like him to see more of the grandchildren, but it's quite hard to get hold of him because he's such a workaholic. And I think actually, ironically, even though he's king and his workload has never been higher, I think he's getting to see a little bit more of them, and he really wants to see a bit more of them, and he really wants to nurture George as the future king. And also, they're now all sort of gravitating around Windsor. So that, the Cambridges, as they were known then, used to always be at Amner, and Charles was always at Highgrove, but now they're all gravitating around Windsor where the kids are at school. So there's actually more opportunity for him to see them, and it's clear, and always has been clear, that Charles actually really does want to see his grandchildren. And I think he even built a playground for George when he was born at Highgrove, which is really sweet.
Oh, that is really sweet. And so you think that there might be a bit of tutoring going on from Charles, via William down to George, which would make sense, actually, really, wouldn't it? And it would be a very, very nice thing to do, to kind of show him the royal ropes and to have that influence in his life.
Definitely. It would have been bred into Charles by the Queen that absolutely take a very strong interest in George's life, just as the Queen took a real interest in William's life. And, therein lies the problem with William and Harry, is that there is the heir is always going to get a lot of focus and a lot of nurturing. I hope that Louis never has this problem with his brother, but he's going to get undoubtedly more attention from Charles than anything, because Charles has to make sure he is the future of the monarchy one day in many, many decades' time.
Yeah, I mean, Louis already looks absolutely wild, doesn't he? And I love to see it. I'm completely and utterly here for it. But Charlotte, thank you very, very much. Yeah. Absolute pleasure to have you on. Hope to see you again very soon. There's Charlotte Griffiths there, editor-at-large of the Mail on Sunday. Now,